Hello, Game Freaks! What's up? The launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming, but the price doesn't seem to help. And to talk about this subject, he who has his car adrift somewhere in space, our interstellar presenter, Rusty, Ellon Rusty.
Thank you, Jenny. Let's get to the point. There's a good chance this video will start with nothing and end with nothing, because, if my memory serves me right, the market has been in chaos for at least 2 years due to rumors, leaks, and speculations about the Nintendo Switch 2. Who am I trying to fool? I'm a cyborg. I have a chip in my head. The trigger for this mess was an article I saw on Eurogamer's website, saying people are already camping out in front of the Nintendo store in New York. Yes, even though the device only arrives on June 5th. Why? Because of the Switch 2 Experience presentation. And let me tell you up front, before you get all worked up and start foaming at the mouth in the comments, listen carefully. The Nintendo Switch 2 is going to sell like hotcakes, and that's going to make the shareholders of the mustached man's company even happier. I won't lie, when I saw the trailer for Donkey Kong Bonanza, I was excited, curious, surely another hit for their catalog. And let's not even mention the new Mario Kart, right? Since the PS4's launch, something has been bothering me. The industry has been delivering increasingly less innovative hardware. Yes, I'm including the Wii here. Questionable games pushed to services, and to top it all off, DLCs and microtransactions to drain every last cent from consumers. And all of that, of course, more expensive than ever. The Switch, back in 2017, caught my attention for being a hybrid with the NVIDIA Tegra chip and a beautiful Super Mario Odyssey trailer. But that excitement wore off when I saw the game prices. I went back to the good old PC. I'm not trying to be hypocritical here. We all know that for a company to survive, it needs to make a profit, and to do that, it needs demand, ideally with added value and, if possible, some kind of differentiation. And Nintendo knows this well. Just look at the numbers. The Mario franchise has sold over 826 million units, Pokemon over 480 million, and Zelda around 163 million. For them, numbers aren't an issue, but value and perception are subjective, so I won't dwell on that. We're facing a new release, and as usual, here comes the avalanche of chatter, videos, and articles criticizing the price of the console, the games, the half-baked backward compatibility, and, of course, the hefty fees to play improved versions of games from the original Switch. Now, back to the key point. If people are camping outside stores, there's also a crowd complaining about the outrageous prices and Nintendo's disregard for consumers. And speaking of price, it's speculated that due to US trade tariffs, the Switch 2 might retail for $450 and an absurd €600 in some Nordic countries. This flood of information made me visit the website and check out some specifications. A device that, let's be honest, is more of a Switch Pro than a truly new console. Sure, it'll have built-in voice chat, a bigger screen, an extra button for chat, a joypad that turns into a mouse, and that's pretty much it. According to leaks, the hardware will feature an ARM Cortex-A78C chip and an NVIDIA Ampere Series GPU, promising 4K on TV, 120 frames in 1440p, and HDR. And to make consumers' wallets even more miserable, games are expected to cost $80. Even for the average American, this starts to feel heavy. And here's where many are worried. If the Switch 2 is a success, which there's a good chance it will be, we could see an even bigger price jump for games, consoles, and services, turning gaming into a luxury item. And don't get me started on the fact that, as always, some people will be waiting for a community to release a reverse-engineered app to run things unofficially. You get what I mean, right? Some still blame Nintendo's die-hard fanbase, that crowd that, no matter the price, empties their bank account without a second thought just to play their favorite franchises. For a moment, I get it. In the last 10 years, aside from Doom Eternal or God of War 4, it was Nintendo's games that caught my attention the most. Mario Kart 8, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Yoshi's Woolly World. Even with inferior hardware, the Switch still seems like the console with the best ecosystem, especially because of the arcade archives. But between us, I prefer a full fridge and paid bills. And to make things even easier for Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft have dropped many of their exclusives. It seems like PS5 and Xbox Series releases are becoming rarer, focused on multiplayer, requiring endless grind, with a quality that makes me long for the good old days. As for Nintendo, turn on the console, sit comfortably, and in just a few minutes, you're playing. No stress, no commitment. And even if you're as lazy as I am, avoiding Zelda, I doubt you won't have fun for hours with a game like Super Mario 3D World. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, let me make this clear. $450 or €600 for those living in Europe is a price I refuse to pay for a toy. If the channel were profitable, I might consider it, as it would be an investment to bring more content to you and, of course, have fun too. Although I've highlighted Nintendo's differentiators, I believe it's an abuse towards the consumer. And even if it were another brand, I'd still hold the same opinion. I believe the ideal would be to make access to these products more widespread, even if the industry claims that game production is becoming more expensive. Will this be true? And if you pay close attention, it's not just games. Graphics cards, processors, memory, things that used to get cheaper and more accessible are now going back to exorbitant prices, almost as high as when they first started. This, to me, smells like a huge manipulation, the classic scam. It is worth reflecting and questioning whether we should let ourselves be carried away by impulse just to feel included in something new. Now I want to know from you, are you excited about the Nintendo Switch 2 and its games? Are you going to wait until the end of the generation? Or are you going with good old emulation? If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications. This really helps YouTube understand that you like my work and recommend the video to more people. Questions, feedback, or corrections? Drop them in the comments. Your participation is always welcome. This was another episode of Game Tunes Network. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time, Game Freaks.
Thanks for watching.